G'day everyone and welcome to Melbourne Power Equipment. On today's video I'll be showing you how to repair Honda's GX390 recoil and the Honda GX160 recoil. Okay, so we will start off with the GX390 recoil. Okay, the most common breakage on the Honda recoil is just a snapped rope. So I'll just quickly cut this rope just to demonstrate. Rightio. So you've got a broken rope there, now let's fix it. Okay, the first step is to remove the old rope out of the handle. Now there's two types of handles. There is this type that has the inner, and then there is this type which is the older style, which is just one piece. Okay, so to remove the recoil rope on this one, just grab a little screwdriver, grab out that little top section there, like so. Just pull out that rope, and that's it. Pop that aside. Okay, now we have to remove the old rope out of the recoil. Flip it over. Just grab your rope out. Just to the end. Just grab that from the knot there. Pull it straight through. Just watch the spring tension. Okay, now we have the old rope out. It's time to pop the new rope in. Grab your new rope. First thing I'm going to do is tie a knot in the end. Make sure it's a good knot. I like the little figure 8 knots. Just like that. Okay, now we have to tension up the spring in the recoil before we put the rope in. So this will take about 5 turns. Okay, so that's 5 turns. Now if I try to go further, it'll hit as far as I can go at the end of the spring. You don't want to force it past that point because you'll break the spring. Let's go back a little bit. So the line there, which is where the rope goes through, lines up with the cover. Okay, now we grab our rope, pop it through that little hole in the plastic, and try to line it up and get it through the same hole in the recoil housing. Let's pull it all the way through while keeping tension on that reel. Okay, so now we lift that rope back in. Before we get to the end, quite a bit easier, just put a little knot in the rope. Anything like that. Now we pop the handle back on. So we pop the outer on first. Then we have the inner. Pop the rope through the inner. Again, tie one of those figure 8 knots. Just like that. Pull that back through, and then put the inner into the outer. So it's nice and flush. Then just take that knot out, and that's it. You now have a new rope in your recoil. And that same procedure is done pretty much on all the Honda single-cylinder GX series engines. Okay, the next repair we are doing on the Honda recoil is the broken recoil spring. You can tell you have a broken recoil spring. When you pull the rope doesn't retract back in by itself. Okay, the first step is to remove the rope out of the recoil, so I'll just quickly do that. Pull the center out. Rope out and undo the knot. Handle off, just allow that spring tension to be released. Okay, when the spring tension is released, you then just grab out the rope and pop that aside. Okay, now we'll undo the center bolt. Okay, undo that and carefully take off the plate there. Now, there is a little spring you have to get from inside there. Pop all that aside. Okay, next we'll take out the little paws here. Just pull up and out, and there is a little spring sitting in there. Usually they stay in by themselves, so just be careful to make sure they don't fly out. Next we will just pull the reel off. Now if you have a broken spring on there, obviously this one doesn't, but half will probably be in there and half will probably be in the reel. Okay, then carefully remove what's left of the spring. Just be very careful of your eyes and any sharp edges on the spring. Okay, so now we need to reinstall a new spring back into the reel. So this one is obviously still a new spring. So I'll show you how we do that. So the end of the spring just goes into that notch there on the reel. Just like that. Okay, there's a number of ways you can do this. The way I like to do it is with my thumbs, or just keeping that spring flat in the reel, moving my way around. Very cautious that it doesn't fly out and hit you in the eye. Righto, that just bring back in. Okay, we'll now sit the reel back into the recoil housing. So this little notch here needs to lock on to that little part there. In and down till it goes flush, and you can tell it's in by it instantly gives you tension. Okay, we'll now pop the pawls back in. So little springs I was just telling you about are those little ones there. Now in order to put these pawls back in, you just need to open that little spring up like that and sit the pawl in just behind it. That spring. See there, that spring is just hooked on the outside of that pawl. Okay, we'll just do the other one. Next we place the central spring in. It just sits there like that. And now the top plate. These little parts here need to sit in, these little bits just in here. Then you just do that little bolt up. Just test to make sure the pawls are working. Beautiful. Next we'll pop the rope back in. Okay, so again we tension up about 5 turns. And line up those 2 holes. We'll grab our rope. Through both the holes. If you can't get it through both holes, just grab some pliers, put it through the first hole, then get it up in the center there, and then poke it back through that second hole. Let that take up some tension. Okay, now we pop our handle back on. Put the outer on first. Inner, just that little knot. through. That's it. New spring in. Okay, that was the GX390 recoil. I'll now give you a quick run through on the GX160 recoil. Okay, first step is to take the rope out. Undo the knot. Righto. Okay, that's the rope out. Okay, so this one has a screw holding a plate on. That off, and again, it's got a little spring in the center. This one also has a little nylon washer in there as well. Just make sure that one doesn't get lost. Okay, to take the pawls out, just release the spring tension, come out and pull the little spring out of it as well. Same on the other side. That. Get that little spring out. Part now lifts off. Okay, just quickly take the spring out. I'll show you how to pop it back in. Okay, now to pop the spring back in this. Line up those two parts. Start winding it on. Now, same as the GX390, I use my thumbs to keep the spring flat and in the reel, and being careful, as there's a spring, it can flick out. Okay, that's back in. So now with this one, we have a little slot there the spring has to pick up onto, which has to hook up onto that part there. Line them up, goes down in, when it hooks up, you'll know because you got tension. Okay, we'll now pop the paws and the springs back in. So the little springs going with the short end in first. In there. Go in just like that. Sit just in there. Same with the other one. It's just in there like that. Okay, now the paws, pull the spring back. Pop the pawl in its home. It's now under spring tension there. Pull the pawl back. Rightio. Now we have the center spring. Pop that back in. Just make sure that little nylon washer is around on that. Yeah, with these ones, we have that little part there that needs to sit into that little section there. Screw that one down nice and tight. Now let's check to make sure our paws are coming out. Beautiful. Okay, so now we'll pop our rope back in. So just tension that up. 5. That's plenty. Okay, same deal. This one has a little hole there, which will then line up with the hole in the casing. Okay, now we pop our rope through. Let's go through both those holes. Put the handle back on. Outer first. And then finally the inner. Little knot. Take it all the way in there. Inner and the outer. Take that knot out. Give it a quick test. That's it. We have 2 repaired recoils. Thanks heaps for watching today's video. I hope it helped you repair your Honda Recoil. If you have any more suggestions for other parts you'd like repaired on power equipment, just drop a comment below. Thanks heaps, take care, and we'll see you next time.